welcome to today's video, and in today's video I'm going to give you a closer look at my E92 M3, which I have just recently purchased. Basically, I'll go over the interior, exterior, the plans, and why I got this car specifically and not some other advertised car. Knowing my look, I've pulled up to the spot. It was drizzling before, but now it is absolutely raining, so gonna wait a couple of minutes. We're gonna go out. I'll show you what has been already done to the car and what I want to do to the car as a priority. We're gonna do the same thing on the interior, and yeah, hope you're gonna enjoy it. Okay, so we're outside. It is raining. Hopefully everything will be visible, but let me go around and give you an actual walk around of the car. Let's start with the front. So coming closer to the hood, the car has few rock chips, as to be expected. I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell, but that is completely normal. So basically my plan was to paint correct the hood and to PPF the entire car. I know that there's a new PPF which came out. I believe it's called PPF 3, which is basically PPF with color, so it's like a wrap but a more durable wrap. So if that will be available for me, what color do you think I should wrap the car? Because originally I wanted to PPF the car in matte, just so the car is matte. It would look a lot more menacing in my opinion. Second thing off, let's take a look at this line right here. Those cars are notorious for having a bad line between the fender and the bumper. Oftentimes the actual mounts break, and people do use different sort of strategies to kind of combine this together, like window glue. But whenever I've inspected this, you can see that it's on actual bolts, so there is nothing dodgy going on behind there. Now, going over to the grill is holding itself perfectly. I have checked, it does actually have all the clips, so there aren't, again, any dodgy methods holding this. Walking this way, you can see that those are the wheels that we are currently rocking. Now, I will be changing up the wheels. I am looking for either the BBS Le Mans wheels or the competition wheels, but for now, they have winter tires on. It is winter, so I'm going to be rocking them until I find the actual wheels. Soon, I may be putting on some spacers, because you can see that we are definitely in need of some spacers. We can definitely pull this sucker out like 1.5 centimeters, which we are definitely going to do. Going lower, I am looking for the GT4 front lip. I have seen one for sale, but it is a fake carbon, and I would like to have real carbon all around the car preferably, but I might just snatch the one just for now, just so the car does look better even on photos or films, and then get the actual one, the real carbon one, when that comes, because waiting time would be probably about a month, 2 months, so having that GT4 lip would definitely transform the car. One thing which I'm truly unsure about are those indicators. Now, this does have the gloss aluminum finish. Like, I saw people using carbon or black ones, and I do kind of prefer them, but I mean, this car does have the blacked out trim, but this definitely gives this car a bit more of a 3D depth of field whenever you look at the fenders, making fenders look slightly bit wider, at least in my opinion. So I might leave them, because the next wheels that I'm going to be getting, I would personally want them to be kind of chrome or silver, just so they actually stand out. It would look definitely a lot better on photos, and it would complement this indicator nicely. Oh, the mirror caps are actually carbon. They are carbon. It's real carbon. Very nice. The roof obviously came stock with a carbon roof. We don't have the sun window thing, we don't need that. It's a race car. Going around, we will definitely get the side skirt additions. Now, I do like that this side skirt, hopefully you can see, it kind of goes inwards, so the actual side skirt carbon edition thing would actually stand out more, which I think looks sick on those cars. And again, going back to the back, we could pull this wheel out by like 2 centimeters. It is definitely hiding in there, but next wheels that I would want to get would definitely need to be wider, at least a 265 or a 275, because looking at this is a 245 40 18, so 18 inch 40 profile, 245 width. We do have the LCI tail lights, as obviously this is an LCI model, but we do have the rear lip. Now, this is the original BMW one, and I was very skeptical towards it, because I have preferred, I have preferred the M4 like with the cutout right here, but to be honest, this grew on me so much that there's no way I'm going to be switching this up. Now, we may get a second trunk, we may put on an actual spoiler or wing, but this is something that we will leave for the future, when we will have more money to burn, because after this expense, we don't have much money to burn. The old owner gave me the diffuser, the rear diffuser for the car, which was of course fake carbon, and I might put that on temporarily, but I do want to get the original one. I think it's a Vorsteiner one, but you can see that the actual exhaust is kind of hiding in there, and putting on that diffuser would actually hide this exhaust more. But I am desperately looking for an exhaust, but most likely what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the first BMW exhaust mod, which will be basically us removing this back box, cutting it up, and then basically putting in pipes without the holes, just so it's basically a straight pipe through the muffler, so there won't be any kind of muffling of the sound. Of course, a nice M3 logo. Now I was thinking about getting the black one, but I think that this would complement the wheels nicely and the exhaust tips, because yes, the exhaust that I will be planning on getting is going to be chrome as well, just so it stands out that extra more. One mod which I also do have, which I have forgot to mention, is the actual intake. So I do have the AFE, I believe it's called, carbon intake, which we are going to do. That's why I'm actually doing this video, because I desperately want to do the video where I put on stuff and modify the car. Now, one thing which I can't show you is the steering rack. So we actually do need to do some maintenance on the steering rack. There is some power steering fluid leak, not too much, and basically all we would need to do most likely is just to replace the O-ring on the steering rack from the right hand side. So it's not that big of a deal, but that's a priority. Second up, paint correction, and then PPF the car. That needs to be done. Actually, I remember one more thing. So on the passenger side, you probably won't be able to tell because it's really hard to tell, but there is a little ding somewhere, and obviously it's not that bad. It doesn't have a sharp tip, so it is definitely going to be, or we're going to be able to get it out without a problem. But again, like, it's so small and it's so hard to see, but since this is one of my dream cars, I do want to have this car in like the most pristine condition. That's why a lot of people are asking me why am I PPFing the entire car, and it's because I want to keep this car in the most pristine condition. I want to give this car basically the treatment that it deserves, because I personally think that it's one of the most important cars, and it kind of is one of the last ones. And one more small update, I have ordered custom plates, because those are the original plates. I am thinking how I'm going to mount those plates, because those, or the front bumper wasn't drilled into. It is actually a two-sided tape holding it. We are going to be able to kind of remove it without a problem, but I don't think I want to use magnets, because obviously like it'd be easy to pull off. So if a person would want to come over and pull it off, they probably could, but I don't want to use this sticky double-sided tape, because if I'm gonna wrap the car, it is probably most likely going to remove the PPF, and that's just going to be a waste of money. But the PPF should last around from 5 to 10 years, or up to 5 years depending what you choose. But personally, going with a PPF 3, I believe it's called again, changing the color, that would be amazing. One color which I'm actually thinking about is the fiery red orange, I believe it's called. So it's very similar to one of the colors that the G80 had, which I've actually, or an F80, which I've actually really liked. So it's more of an orange with that fiery tint, and it looks absolutely amazing. Since it's still raining, I'm gonna just cover the interior, probably put the interior after the exterior. So let's start with the interior. So first off, the elephant in the room is the short shifter. Just to show you here from the other side, it is actually shorter compared to the original one. I do have the original one just in case I would want to switch it back, but I'll definitely stick with the short shifter, because yes, I am actually really enjoying it. And we do have the EDC, the electronic dampening control. It's there to adjust your suspension, make it stiffer, more track-like. Some people like it, some people don't. I personally do like it. Even with the shitty roads around, I still do use it. So this M3 was manufactured at the end of 2010, making it the 2011 model, technically, the LCI. So if we take a look at this knob, hopefully you can see, this is the LCI iDrive right here. And instead of this one spinny circle with a button, you do actually have those other various buttons which do help you in navigation on your iDrive. And I believe the older models had a smaller iDrive, or it may be some other car, but the pre-LCI iDrive was absolutely useless. I've heard it from so many people. So if you are considering this car with an iDrive, do try to go for the LCI model, because it's actually useful compared to the old one, which was practically useless. Continuing on, we do have this compartment right here. If we open it, you can see that there is no lighter plug thing here. Now, this car did come with the smoker's package. I believe this is called the smoker's package, but the owner decided to replace it as he didn't smoke. But I do have the original one, I do have the smoker's package one, and I will put it back in because I actually do use it. I don't smoke, but I'll show you why I need it and why it is super useful for me. So just going around the dash, this does have the light up trim right here, and in a few other places we do have this cool stitched carbon pattern. I think that it'd be better if it was a real carbon, but this stitch carbon goes nicely with the extended leather, because yes, I'm not sure if I've mentioned, but this car has the extended leather. You can see all of this right here. Yes, both cup holders are working, but we also have the extended leather right here and just basically all over the place, which personally I'm a super huge fan of. And when I was looking for a car, I wanted the red leather. I think this is called the Fox something leather. It's not exactly same as in my E92 335, but I'm a big fan, and once I saw the actual interior, I honestly fell in love with it, especially with the fact that it's kept in such a good state. So since this is an LCI model, you probably don't notice any buttons right here because they were moved over to here. So for example, the heated seats are right here, which to be honest, I'm a big fan of. I prefer to have them all clustered here instead of just wasting space here for two buttons. But you probably have noticed that I'm using this phone mount, and this one is specifically made for the iPhone. And to be honest, I was so super skeptical towards those magnetic, MagSafe, whatever you want to call them, mounts, but I decided to get it because I wanted to have a super clean interior in the E92 M3, and the other ones are just slightly bigger, and you know, removing your phone each time is a bit of a struggle. But this one, you can just mount it on and take it off as you please. If you want to make your interior look better, I would recommend one of those MagSafe phone holder things. Now, keep in mind, whenever you are buying them, you must also have a MagSafe compatible case. This isn't a MagSafe compatible case. I switch between my cases. So this does hold, but it doesn't hold as much as I would like it to hold. So on a bigger bump, this would most likely fall. So if you are planning on getting it, do have a MagSafe compatible case, or just use your iPhone without a case if you're a big baller and have money to spend and you don't mind dropping your phone, cracking it, and getting another one for so much money. So taking a look at the seat, hopefully you can see there's an M badge logo right here. Hopefully that is visible. But now let's take a look at the middle armrest. And one thing that I kind of find confusing, so if you take a look at this right here, this does appear to be two different kind of compartments. You would think that this kind of opens up sideways and you have a compartment, but this is actually a one compartment. And just to further confuse you, this part slides, but this part doesn't slide. And let's talk about the compartment itself. So I have mentioned that I use my lighter plug a lot. Well, I obviously charge my phone with it, but I use it for transmitting music over to the radio, as this does not have Apple CarPlay, which I might be installing. But basically, while this is here, I can obviously close this lid. Everything works fine, perfectly. Well, if I decide to plug in my phone and charge it, you can hopefully see and tell that this will not close because of that cable. It's sticking out past the actual kind of capacity or the top. So that is clearly not going to work. I was never in the back of this car, so I'm honestly not sure what's hiding there. So let's go over to the back, take a quick look. So we are in the back. It is definitely slightly darker. One thing I've actually forgot to mention is, I'm not sure if you can recognize the speakers, but this does have the individual audio, which was actually one of my things on the list that I really wanted to have in a car. And yes, the individual audio and the normal regular one that you would get with the car does have noticeable difference if you are into music, especially listening it a bit louder. Just want to point out that I'm not one of those people that do listen to music very obnoxiously in the car. But like, if I was to drive here as a passenger in the back, I definitely wouldn't mind. It does have more space than I have imagined. I was actually never driving in the back of my E92 335, but yeah, the back isn't actually bad. So what do we have here? We do have the, I think it's a 2-zone climate control thing. So we do have climate control right here. We do have some sort of storage compartment, whatever. And then the real question is, do we have cup holders? Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was checking for cup holders and it's something that I didn't expect, but we do have one more storage compartment here. But so I decided to take this out and expected a cup holder, but this doesn't have a cup holder. Oh, okay, this has the... Okay, so I'll explain what this is. So this is a bag which you can actually unzip and it extends just so you can have your skis in the back of the car. And so your skis would actually go through here instead of putting your seats down, so you can actually have passengers in the car, and that would actually extend throughout the center of the car, and those skis would be in the bag. Now, I don't ski, I snowboard sometimes, so I'm not going to use this. One thing which I was looking around is for some M logo, just to remind passengers that they are sitting in the back of the M3, but there are no logos in the back. So if you're sitting in the back, the only time you'll remember that you're in the M3 is whenever you'll hear the V8 or the exhaust, or if the person will floor it. I definitely didn't forget to record the iDrive. Now the camera lens is slightly dirty. Hopefully you won't be able to see, but there was a lot of rain on it, so I just wanted to kind of clean it up. So once we turn on the car, you're gonna see the greeting screen. So unfortunately, I think I see those lines, but we are going to roll on with it, and I'll show you a bit on the iDrive itself. So here's the My Menu, which you can basically switch between items. We do have the CD and multimedia. I don't really listen to CD, but if we go into the multimedia, actually we're gonna go back out, we have to press on this knob if we want to actually go into the settings. I just had to turn off the sound because obviously don't want to get copyrighted. But if you want to go into the settings, you actually have to physically press on this black knob. But if you want to go sideways, all you have to do is just go up and down, and it's like a joystick. So in here you can see that we are in the audio and CD. We don't really, actually there's a CD in there, I didn't even know that. But if we go back, that's basically all of those things. You've got the music collection, which I don't know what that is. You've got external devices. I think I can connect my phone to it with the aux, but of course new devices don't really have aux and extensions, and I'm not a big fan of that. If we go into tone, this is where you can adjust your speakers, and this is basically something that you would want to spend your time on to make the sound as crispy as possible. So the surround sound, I'm not sure if the non-individual speakers have it, but the individual speakers do have the surround sound, and yes, I do use it. And basically the audio is 360. Most of it comes from the back, so it kind of muffles the exhaust, which I'm not a big fan of, but of course I've mentioned that I need to do up my exhaust, and once that happens I should be able to hear it fine. We got further volume settings, so speed volume, PDC, oh, and the gong. Yeah, first thing I've done, I came into the car, I had to turn down the gong because it was giving me heart attacks, but that's all relatable between all BMW drivers. If we go back out, we can go into the radio. Well, we don't even need to go into the radio, it's just radio. I can connect my phone to it, so yeah, I don't have it connected, but basically you can make calls. You do have this thing on your steering wheel which basically allows you to make calls, and here is your voice assistant. You've got the volume controls and some other things, but yeah, let's go back here to the main screen. Going back out, we have the navigation. So the navigation itself could be handy, could not be handy. Each time I go on like a longer drive to a place where I don't know, I usually just use my phone. It's a lot more modern, a lot easier to get to, but I don't mind having this navigation up just to see more or less the area from like the more of an upper ground. So if I'm gonna go down to like 100 kilometers, I'll be able to see more or less what's around me, if I'll ever be kind of wondering what's around me. But this can be changed. So if I'm gonna go right, if I'm gonna press once more on this knob, so right here, I can tell this spinning knob to do something else. So currently I had it set to magnification, that's why I was able to kind of zoom in, zoom out, but I do have map views, interactive map, whatever that is, traffic information, point of interest, route criteria, spoken instructions, and guidance. I'm not sure if that's usable to you, but to me, not really. We can save our journeys, which I don't recommend, because if somebody's gonna steal your car, they're gonna be able to see potentially where you live, which isn't nice. I'm not gonna lie, my hand is in a bit of a pain since I don't have a tripod, but further on we have contact, so that's related to the telephone. BMW service, whatever that is, I guess you can do your service bits. I do have kind of two screens, so one on the side here and one here. This is my journey computer, just to see the fuel, mileage and whatnot. But here you have BMW mobile car, BMW online, hotline, your service status, whatever that is. I'm going to go into vehicle information. This is another very interesting screen, which I did miss on my 335 since I didn't have this iDrive. But I have my onboard computer, so I have all of my kind of information. That is my fuel consumption, if you're wondering, and that is more of a journey fuel consumption. We can go back out into the journey computer, which you see there on the right, so I don't know if there's any point of me going into it. You can reset it obviously for stats. Vehicle status, something I'm in pretty often, mainly just to put on this. So the oil level. So once the oil level heats up, it is going to show you how much oil level you have and if everything is fine. And in those cars, I also actually have it right here. You can't see because of this CPL, but yeah, you can see now. So I have this oil level information at all times because technically you should be able to tell by this yellow line when the car is ready to be used properly. But a lot of people say, let me get it to focus on this right here. Can you focus? Yeah, but a lot of people say that it's better to actually wait until your BMW will be able to read your oil temperature, and this will basically tell you when your car is actually ready to be used in a more of an aggressive situation. So going back here, since my car isn't warmed up, we're gonna kind of back out and see if there's any other information available. But yeah, we of course have the normal settings. So here you can adjust your M drive. So there is this button here for the M3s where you can press this and it's gonna adjust a few different parameters, such as EDC. Let me see if I can get this to focus. Such as EDC, DSC, power, and servotronic. So they're basically in all sport plus, and that will basically allow us to be the most BMW driver on the road, aka aggressive and quick. Control display, whatever that hell is. Oh yeah, it's this display. We can basically change the brightness, so we can actually make this brighter. I'm actually gonna make this brighter. Why not? I'm gonna go back, date and time, language units, tone, speed, climate. So you can actually set a reminder if you're going too quickly. It is going to probably give you the gong and give you the heart attack each time. Climate, lights. Oh yeah, I think I have the, oh, those are just the headlights and all of those different things, whatever. And we've got door locks, so you can change that too, which is pretty nice. Now we do have this computer right here. Hopefully you can see, which we can check a few different things from, or actually this is just brightness, so I'm gonna set this. But here we have our average consumption. Hopefully you can see, hopefully this focused. We have how much we are going, or how fast we are going. We also have nothing, how close we are till, or how close we are to running out of gas. And yeah, this is the oil level, and this is basically what I use at all times. So let's quickly go over why I got this car. First off, this car is a manual, which I like. This is the red extended leather. Again, very nice. The carbon trim is a bonus, honestly. You could replace that anytime. It's not a big deal, and also it's not that expensive. But the main reason why I got this car is low mileage. I only got it when it was 107,000 kilometers, which isn't much. Previous owner had this car for 6 years and he took really good care of it. Some things that he had done was the valve cover. Valve covers do seem to break. Another thing is throttle actuators. So throttle actuators, they also break, and instead of getting new ones, which will break either way because they're plastic on the inside, he got them rebuilt. He has replaced the injectors, which he didn't have to do. The car was fine, it's just that he felt like it'd be nice to replace them. The oil was replaced every 10,000 kilometers, which is what BMW suggests. I'll be doing it every 5,000 kilometers. All of the oils, such as the transmission oil, the differential oil, those were replaced every 30,000 kilometers. Clutch, brakes, all of those, they were also replaced on time, and there has been a lot more done to this car. It's just that it was taken care of. Generally, it was really taken care of, and whenever I've looked underneath the car, because the car was on the inspection, so I got to look underneath, everything was in such a great condition. And I know it's most of the car underneath is aluminum and all that, but the car is like really in such a great condition. There are no leaks between the transmission and the engine. There are no leaks on the engine whatsoever, which is also amazing. So looking at the overall package, the car had what I was looking for. The carbon roof, the individual speakers, manual, red interior, extended. The car was well maintained. There are receipts for everything. And the previous owner had it for 6 years. So again, hope you have enjoyed this video. If you do have a suggestion for the color of the car, or any other suggestions, any other things that you want to see, do let me know. And yeah, hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care, and to the next one.